Welcome back to the Running Wine Mom podcast. I'm your host, Samantha Cieslinski, aka the Running Wine Mom. Today we have a special guest who is a master of turning chaos into calm and clutter into clarity. She is the founder of An Organized Life, a platform dedicated to helping transform homes into organized havens. Without further ado, let's welcome Nathalie to the show. Nathalie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a nice day here in Pennsylvania. Nice
Yes.
evening, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, and Nathalie and I have been chatting so much over social media. She's local to Bucks County, and I always like to highlight the amazing women who are running all the businesses in Bucks County. So I'm so excited to finally sit down and have a conversation with you.
Okay.
So to start off our episode, we have our wine, and win of the week. This is where we share our favorite bottle of wine. We vent about something that has been bothering us and celebrate our recent victories. So grab a glass, take a deep breath, and let's get started. So what is your WINE of the week?
So I'm normally not a wine drinker, but I have a client who owns a winery. So he went into his cellar and got me a blueberry wine.
Ooh.
So I liked that one.
That's good. You could probably make that into like a sangria, maybe.
I drank I drank the whole bottle that night. So
There you go. So it was good. And what is your WHINE of the week?
Just I was having some health issues recently, so it's pretty much getting that all in check. Yeah, the doctor's visits, medication, that kind of stuff. So I mean, so I can get back 100%. I'm back into work, but yeah, to feel 100% and know that I'm going on the right route this year, health wise.
Yes, health is so important, and when you get a scare, it's definitely scary. What is your win of the week?
The win of the week is we're going to be hosting an event later in the springtime, a local event for business. Well, for my business, it's called a sip and swap. So we're going to, have it at a nice little location, most likely a small bar in Bucks County, like a back room type of thing. And people will declutter their closets and bring the clothes that they don't want, swap with other people, and whatever doesn't go, we can donate to charity or they can just take back with them.
Wow, I love that. I feel as though so many of my friends have talked about something like that, and I've never heard of anyone actually doing it. So I'm so excited to see how it transpires because I think that you are definitely on to something with that.
Thank you. I'm excited. Just something different,
During my maternity and postpartum era, I started thrifting, and I love thrifting so much now and I really do feel so good about it because I'm like, it's good for the environment. You're not just like going to do like fast fashion. And even if you do buy something that is like fast fashion, it's secondhand. So I feel as though it's been such an experience for me that I didn't think that I would love so much, but I do.
Yeah, my oldest loves thrifting. And I mean, we've been to local events here. We've been to a big one in Philadelphia. And then now that she's down in Savannah, Georgia, she's found thrifting down there. So
Cool. I always like to ask my guests, what is one struggle you've overcome leading to where you are now? And what is one thing you are most proud of in your life?
I guess one struggle is obviously starting my own business. I wasn't a business major or anything in college. I actually was a criminal justice major thinking I was going to be a lawyer. That didn't go through. But yeah, I mean, it's really just working and doing all the back end stuff. Cause obviously as a home organizer, I love the organizing part of it. And as a business owner, you just wish you can go in and just do it without all that back end stuff. So, I mean, in addition to, owning the business, it was also social media, financial, HR, everything. So, so that was kind of, something we've overcame. And then what was the second thing you said?
The thing you are most proud of in your life?
I'd say proud of my kids. Yeah. I mean, owning my own business showed them that you can kind of do anything you put your mind to. So, yeah. So, I mean, my kids I'm super, super proud of them.
That's awesome. And I'm excited to hear about them in just a little bit.
Good.
And so the Running Wine Mom, we do start off with fitness. What is your favorite way to stay active?
So on a good day, I get up at 5 a.m. and hit the pool by 5:30 a.m. So I'll swim laps.
That's great.
And in addition, like to add on to that, like I would get to the end of the pool where the diving board is and take that bar, and then I do pull-ups.
Okay.
And then
Wow.
swim back, and then at the other end I'll do like scissor kicks or something like that. So I remember the one time coming in, because at that time in the morning it's a lot of older people, just doing their little exercises and stuff. And I remember walking into the pool one time, and there was an older woman at the end on the bar trying to lift herself up. I was like,
Oh,
oh, that was
that's
so cute. So I swam next to her and I showed her, what I did. But yeah, so that's I used to back in the day do the kickboxing, all that stuff. And now at my age, I feel like I don't want a lot of high impact. And I like it that swimming is just very calming. I'm in my own head, no distractions, and it's a full body.
Yeah, it's so underrated, and I feel as though people like forget about it. I love swimming, and it's one that I don't think about often to be like, oh, let me get. When I was training for different things, I would swim, but consistently. I mean, it's so low impact and so high fitness level. It
Mhm.
takes so much energy out. It's a
Yeah.
great way to keep in shape.
Yeah.
So, how do you stay motivated to maintain your fitness routine?
Well, I mean, I was a competitive swimmer growing up, so I knew that I always wanted to get back to. Obviously, I don't want to compete or anything like that anymore.
Right.
But yeah, especially right now, with the whole health stuff, I'm super hyper focused on maintaining this, just keeping up, because I mean, my job is really physical as it is too. And I actually, for a while, had stopped going to the gym because we were so busy with work. I was up and down, lifting boxes, all sorts of stuff. And then I realized I'm like, as much as physical activities we do, it's still not like a workout. So yeah, I joined the YMCA, the local one. And but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, I guess, stay into fitness just so I can, keep my endurance up for work and stuff too.
Yeah, that's great. And what struggles do you have to stay motivated in your routines or just in general, healthy and fit?
Well, it's winter. So, I mean, rolling out of bed and, thank God for like a remote start. Because,
Right.
oh my God. But yeah. And then, like I said, I've taken some time off just because, just had blood pressure issues and stuff like that. So took some time off, but now I know it's time to get cracking and get back
Right.
to it. But yeah, I mean, I was consistently for months and months and months, and it was great. Like, just I was able to be home early enough that I had that downtime before anybody was up or anything like that.
The
And
best.
yeah, it was nice. I know.
So let's move into parenthood. Can you tell us about your family?
Sure. I've been married since 2000. And
Okay.
it's funny because we picked that year so my husband would know how many years
Yeah.
we've been married. And yeah, so we're going on 24 years.
Wow.
I've met him when I was 19, so we've known each
Okay.
other more than half our lives. I
Right.
have 3 kids.
Oh,
Um, I had a set of twins,
okay.
and when they were 6 months old, found out I was pregnant again. So
Oh my
I had
gosh.
3 under 15 minutes. So
Oh my
that
gosh.
was kind of crazy. Triple stroller, 3 high chairs everywhere, everything in threes.
Oh my
We had
gosh.
a bye-bye diaper party after the last one was out of diapers.
Oh.
But because it was just consistent, and there was one funny story I remember when the kids were really little, and I kind of went by my day what was like on TV if I wasn't out with them,
Mhm.
PBS Kids or something was on, Arthur was on something, and the knock at the door, and I went out, and it was my husband at the door, and I said, "Where's your car?" He said, "The car is parked outside of the neighborhood." I said, "Why?" He's like, "The whole neighborhood is roped off. I live near a field. There was a plane that crashed in the field. I didn't hear it." I said, "Do you see how
Oh,
busy I am with 3 kids? I couldn't even hear a plane crash." Um,
oh my
but
gosh.
yeah, so I mean, it's built-in playmates. It was a great, I can't say was, but now they're all in college. They're all away in college. So I mean, I sort of did my job, but yeah, it's
Oh my
crazy. So
gosh.
2 of them are in college in Pennsylvania, and one of them just moved to Savannah, Georgia, to go to school.
Wow.
So
Oh
that
gosh.
was
I
that was
can't. I cannot. I had two 18 months apart. I can't imagine adding a third. I even say now Parker is the age that Willow was basically when he was born. I'm like, there's no way I could have another child. Like, no way.
no, and we went through fertility, so
Okay.
I wasn't ovulating. So
Yeah.
we went through multiple rounds of the Clomid. And then when I went to saw a specialist, then they put me on more rounds of that. And I did the injections and stuff like that. And then I got pregnant. It took us about 2 years to have them. And then I started like when they were like 6 months old, I started a job. It was a part-time job, but training was full-time. So I was I was going to watch them that day, go to the training, then come home. So by the last week I was exhausted. I was really run down. And my friend was like, "Oh, maybe you're pregnant." I said, "That's stupid. That's not going to happen." And the last day I left the training early, nauseous. I was like, "I'm really run down." And she was waiting for me at our house with a pregnancy test. She's like, "Just take it. What's the big deal?" And I took it. Those lines came up so fast.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my God, how did this happen? I don't even know.
It's not sort of, I guess, similar with us, like, because we did all the stuff that you did with the fertility and everything. And then once we were like, okay, if we're not pregnant by the time Willow's 1, we'll go back. And literally I was like, it was similar. I'm like, I'm so tired. I don't understand why. Like I'm in a good routine. And then I actually took what I thought was an ovulation test, and it was a pregnancy test. And I was like, oh my God.
It was crazy. And they wound up coming 2 months early.
Oh, wow. So,
yeah,
oh my gosh.
It was, we weren't ready for anything at that point.
Right.
And, in the middle of the night, the breathing started kicking in. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like walking around, and we live like less than 10 minutes from the hospital that we were supposed to go to, and woke my husband up, and he's like putting his pants on. I'm like, let's get going.
Yeah. You're like, come on.
And we got there, and they said, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. And they said, are you in labor? I'm like, I have no idea.
You're like, I don't know.
And they brought me up, and they said my blood pressure was sky high. They needed to lower and deliver.
Oh my gosh.
Like, deliver? I don't have a bag, I don't have a camera, nothing. I mean, back in the day, like cell phones didn't really have cameras.
Right.
So so then I was, I guess, getting sick from the high blood pressure. They give you that little kidney shaped bowl. I'm like, this isn't gonna do anything. So, and but they gave my husband scrubs, and off we went. Like within, I guess, I left here at 3:30, and by 6:29 and 6:31 they were both born. And
oh my gosh.
I mean, I was a C-section. They knew I knew it was going to be a C-section, but I mean, and they no issues, because I did have steroids before they were delivered. So they had to stay in the hospital for a week to gain to 5 pounds. They were 3 and 4 pounds.
Okay.
But still, they said I would have been over 8 pounds each baby if I would have gone full term.
Can you imagine?
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. So it's good you did go early.
But yeah, and it was funny though, because I was released on the Friday, and they stayed another week. And the day that I was released was one of my best friend's weddings. And I was supposed to be in it, but I couldn't, because when we found out I was pregnant with twins, she's like, we don't know the date. So I went home and got dressed and went to a wedding.
Oh my.
The nurses were like, drink beer to bring your milk in, and that kind of stuff. So I'm at the table, they're like, didn't you just have some kids? And I said, yeah. I said, trying to bring some milk in. And, but yeah, so I was pounding, and it was nice, because then I got to recover without, without having to take care of them. Like I would go up to pump or do what I needed to do. But yeah, it was nice. And then when we took them home, my daughter came home first, and then my son came home like 2 days later. It was raining both days, and the nurses were like, oh, there's a little old wives' tale that if you take your kids home on a day that it rains, you'll be back within the year. And I was a smidge over a year.
Wow. Oh
I've never heard of that before.
You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's silly. That's funny. Yeah. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so there I was and then the third one was a planned C-section.
Right.
And the twins wound up getting sick for the first time while I was in hospital with her. So I had to come home early to sick kids, because there was like 5 people taking care of the 2 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah. And yeah, so it's just been craziness ever since.
Mm-hmm. So besides the quick second pregnancy and the twins, what were you least prepared for in pregnancy or in parenthood?
I mean, I don't like, for the third one coming and the other ones being so little, we never had that whole like, mommy's having a baby, getting excited about that. It was just more like, it's all here.
Right.
Like, I'm spitting these kids out. But yeah, I mean, I rarely did I recall sleeping issues or anything like that. My third one was a little colicky.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no, knock on wood, they were really good babies. I mean, besides the fact that twins do get into their own set of trouble, we would
Right.
corral the living room and I'd find them with a full jar of petroleum jelly just hanging from them.
Oh my.
Yeah, like stuff, especially with my son. He's the only
Yeah.
one who's ever gone to the hospital for the emergency room because of
Oh my
boy
gosh.
stuff, you know.
Boys, yeah,
Mhm.
they're different. I'm
But
learning that real quickly. That's Willow was like this angel baby. I'm like, this isn't hard. And
Mhm.
then Parker, I'm like, oh my God, what is
Yeah,
this?
every time I say as soon as they turn 15 months, they need a safety helmet.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Mhm.
So what do you think your parenting style is?
I'm very laid back. Um, yeah, we're all very chill here.
Good.
It's just do your best, but and my son is a very like a high anxiety type of kid, so he puts a lot of pressure on himself, but we're very just okay,
Yeah.
My brother is about 54, and he has 8-year-old twin girls.
Okay.
Um, and they're very, I don't know if it's more of like an older parent type of thing or because it took them 8 years to try to get pregnant.
Wow.
They're very, I don't want to say like helicopterish type of parent.
Hmm.
They're very like every little thing that happens, they're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I was visiting the one time and my mom had made my brother like a hard boiled egg or something like that. And he was eating it and there was a piece of shell. And he's like, oh, mom, there's a shell in it. So I looked at him. I said, did you die? He's like, no. And my sister-in-law goes, I can see how our parenting styles are different.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't like to make things like crazier than they are because I don't want to freak anybody out.
Right.
It's just, we're very chill family. And it's nice that the kids, like now that they're grown, we can hang out.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice. Like my girls and I, even when they were teenagers, we'd go shopping and they'd be like, can we get best friend necklaces? I'm like,
Oh
I
my
was like, oh,
gosh.
this is so nice. And this year for Christmas, like we all got matching bracelets with 3 different hearts for each of us.
Oh,
And
that's so sweet.
they're
I
really,
hope Willow's like that and Parker too, but I
yeah,
know girls are different
they're
with
super,
the.
super close. Like I absolutely, and that's why I was like, it's so hard when like now we're just empty nesters.
Yeah,
It's
oh my
weird,
gosh, I'm
but
sure. And like I'm just the total opposite where I'm like I don't even have a second to breathe, but I talk to people who are on the other end of it and it's like, it goes so fast and I can see how quickly it's going already.
it does. But it's nice that like you get them to the point that they can fly. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
the point.
yeah, they're all so they all went to we have a what's called a Bucks County Technical High School.
Hmm.
So they all went there and you take a major there. So all of
Hmm.
them are studying in college what they took at that school.
That's
So it
cool.
really prepared them. So my son is a double major of computer science and mathematics.
Wow.
I don't even understand half the stuff that he says. My daughter's a fashion photography major and my other one's a fashion design major.
Oh my gosh, that's so neat.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm sure you're just so like overwhelmingly proud of them all.
I'm just happy that they're following a passion and they're happy. Do you know what
Right.
I
And that's
mean?
so,
That's all I want because I mean they don't need to be a doctor or lawyer or whatever.
mhm.
And with the arts, you never know. You
Yeah.
never know. But I mean, they're at schools that are good with opportunities. So
Yeah. That's the most
fingers crossed.
important. I'm
Yeah.
sure that they'll get great experiences
Yeah.
there.
My son
And that,
actually leaves in May for Iceland. He's studying abroad in Iceland in May.
oh my gosh. Have you ever been? Oh my
No,
gosh. And my parents just went in November and we
really.
had gone in 2018 or 17. I think it's my favorite place I've ever been, and I think my parents think the same. And
Wow.
my dad has been like everywhere, and it's just like another world. The people there are so nice. The crime
Okay.
rate is literally like 0.33 for every like million people. It was like some insane number.
Great.
It was just such a great experience, and it's literally like you're on another planet. So oh my
Good to
gosh,
know.
what,
Because I mean, his school actually it's mandatory to study abroad at some point.
wow, okay.
So I mean, I'm happy for him. And that with
Yeah.
my younger daughter, since she's in fashion, she gets to go to Rome next year if she
Okay.
wants to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just do it
I've
now.
never heard of anyone studying abroad in Iceland, and I am so jealous
Yeah,
because
he
it's
had the choice of Sweden or Iceland, and he got approved to go to Iceland.
yeah. And it's like I said, it's so safe. Traveling is so easy.
Good.
So many things to see. It is a little expensive because everything has to be imported, obviously, but other that, I mean, if that's the only complaint,
Yeah.
whatever.
He's going with school, so I'm guessing like there was going to be some program or package or something.
Yeah, that's
And he
cool.
eats everything under the sun, so it's like he tries, he's like
Yeah.
Mikey or whatever. He tries everything and likes it.
They're known for hot dogs. That's like one of their main, that like the hot dogs were something everyone's like, you gotta have an Icelandic hot dog. I don't know that there was like anything like super special about them, but that's like one of their
I heard
things.
seafood. They
And
have a lot of
seafood,
seafood.
yeah, because it's very coastal, which all their seafood was so good.
Gotcha.
Which was good. And then their yogurt, their Icelandic yogurt is really good.
He loves seafood, and it's funny. One day over the summer, I was at work, and he called me. He's like, "I want to sear some tilapia or salmon or something like that." So I said, "All right, just be careful with the oil, blah blah." So then he called, and he's like, "Everybody's okay." Well,
You're
then
like, okay,
I'm rushing from work, and
yeah.
then I come home, and my girls are on the couch, and they're like, "Yeah, he came out," and he's like, "Guys, fire." As calm as can be. So they ran to the kitchen, put the fire. I'm like, oh my, no. I was like, how
Oh
about
my
we
God.
just bake it? And, like,
Yeah.
yeah, stuff to look forward to.
Gosh, all right. I got that right now. We're cooking bagel bites. That's like what we making the little bagel bites is what
That's good
she's
stuff.
learning now. So, all right. So let's get into your business. Can you start by telling us a little bit about how you got into the business of organizing homes?
So, I've always been an organized person, and especially once the kids came, if I wasn't organized, I probably lost my mind.
Hmm.
I was a real estate agent for years. So
Okay.
really enjoyed getting my clients' homes ready for sale, helping them declutter, helping them stage it so that, it can sell. And after I was an agent, I was an agent's assistant for about 5 more years. And I love paperwork. So I worked for 4 different agents. I got all their files in order, really loved it. And then I started it part-time in 2017 and just did it part-time while I worked at some other jobs. You never know with a business if it's going to take off.
Hmm.
And then in 2020, um, at the end of 2020, I did a branding photo shoot, redid my website, and then 2021 we went full time.
Wow.
And it's been amazing ever since. We're a team of 5, and we offer, in addition to obviously organizing, we declutter, sort, help people downsize. We work with real estate agents in which we pack, we unpack, and we set up the new homes. We do gift certificates for closing. Holiday time, we come in and we decorate for the holidays, and then come back, take it down, and put it away for you. And we just added closet and pantry design and installation. We added that this year.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's kind of taken off too. So that's what else can I just add to my list to do?
I know. That's what I was going to ask you, walking us through your services. So you just really do it all for everything. The holidays are huge. Obviously I know from coming just off of Christmas where I'm like, oh my God, how do we get all this stuff together? Um, and so that's probably such a burden to take off of people, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, we find just people just don't have the time to do things anymore.
Hmm.
I mean,
And you
everybody.
don't like it's like time versus money. Like, do you want to pay someone to do this so you get your time back? That's,
Exactly.
such a thing, a big thing. I
Yeah.
feel like. Um, so what are the most common challenges people face when it comes to organizing their home?
First, they're overwhelmed. A lot of times, they're overwhelmed when they call. They're embarrassed. Obviously, we come in with no judgment. We've seen it all. The only thing we don't do is we don't work with hoarders because that's a whole
Hmm.
like other mental level as well. But yeah, I mean, we've worked alongside therapists who have referred us their clients. So I have shopping addiction clients.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
we, sit there and help them sort through all their stuff. There was one client, her whole second floor hallway was full, as tall as I am, so 5'5" piles of clothes, the whole length of the thing, and all brand new with tags.
Oh my
It
gosh.
really did a number on people because they just bought
Yeah.
and bought and bought, and
Hmm.
um,
And then you didn't go anywhere. So
yeah,
it's like,
exactly. And this was all new stuff. So I mean, I've dealt with like hoarder tendency people, but yeah, a variety of clientele, anywhere from young families getting ready for a new addition to old, widowers to having to downsize and going through all of their memory stuff. I mean, I've taught and I've learned too, from the older generation coming down, as we go through stuff. I never make people toss anything, I'm patient with them, and so is my team. And we get so many accolades. Like, I'll have people who invite me over for the holidays, and it's like,
Oh,
it's really, really nice. I've had one client, we were decluttering her home, and she was moving her ex-husband in or something like that. And when we were moving him out of his apartment, she called and said that there was a flood in the bathroom and flooded the whole basement that we just did. And
oh my God.
the next day, she said her and her husband were sitting there at the table talking about all of the renovations they're going to have to do now with flooring and stuff like that. Who can we call that we can trust? And she said they both looked at each other and said my name.
Oh,
It really is nice. Like, I mean, we've had such an amazing clientele, super, super blessed. And, they become friends, and the connections you make too. Like I said, I mean, hey, I know somebody who has a winery.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it really, really is nice. And I'm just going there to help. That's all I want
Right.
to do, is help you kind of just simplify your life.
Hmm.
I've lived it. I've had 3 kids in travel sports. I know that there's no time, especially when you're on the go constantly.
Hmm.
So I kind of like to cater to those kind of families that deal that, but obviously we work with everyone. I spent 5 years driving my daughters 2 hours away to practice, and we wouldn't get
Wow.
home till midnight, and then do the same thing like over and over again. I was on 14 flights with them for competitions, and so as much as I love that hustle and bustle, I'm like happy. I'm like, how did I ever do that? I was insane.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, I kind of always try to relate to my clients, to be like, oh, I've lived that, or one of
Hmm.
us has done that, and all of my team were each at a different stage of life with our kids.
Oh,
So
that's
some
cool.
of us has been in that situation.
Right. And so how do you approach organizing a space to ensure that it's tailored to the individual needs and preferences of your clients? Like, do you meet with them before, or do you have them send, like, do you do like a questionnaire or something?
So I do a consultation. So we
Okay.
walk through. At this point in business, they can send me pictures, and I'll know exactly what I need to do.
Hmm.
I can take a look at the space and be like, oh, yep, we need this, or we need this, we need this. But I prefer to do a consultation just to get a feel of the client too.
Hmm.
They may think they want to do something, and then, a lot of times with clients think they need to do a whole, you know, closet remodel. And I'm like, well,
Hmm.
if we just tweak it,
Right.
add this, and boom, you don't. So I
Yeah.
like, we sit there and we do walkthrough. Sometimes they're like, oh, can you come in for the kitchen? And as we're talking, they're like, oh, can I show you the basement? Can I show you? By all means, because I will give them the tips and suggestions right then and there. If
Hmm.
it's something that they can do on their own, I do understand, you're paying for our time. So if there's things that you can do on your own, please, I'd rather, because you're the one who's going
And
to
yeah,
maintain.
you're the one that's going to be doing it.
And that's what we
So
do. We set up the systems so that anywhere from the husband can maintain it, the kids, everybody. So easy, just so like you have your time back.
yeah. Do you have a favorite success story from your experience for, or maybe like your favorite transformation of space?
Oh my gosh, we've done so. Um, Gosh, I guess, but I mean, it's just going to be not a space in particular, but like, say, like a family who's like completely overwhelmed, don't even know where to start. And to get texts when I come home, be like, I can breathe. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? I get it. Life gets in the way,
Yeah.
especially like a basement where, like, I have one client who has a playroom in the basement, and it's just an easy place to just close the door, toss the things
Hmm.
down there, and forget about it. And she was very overwhelmed right before the holidays. And I said, let me come in before that, because I know things are going to be coming in.
Right.
So, yeah, so I organized her whole playroom, and she texted me that night. She's like, my husband can't believe it. And husbands, a lot of times, are the ones who are like, you don't need to come. My wife
Right.
can do it. And it's really nice when we have the husbands work alongside us, because they're get excited, and
The,
it's just fun. But yeah, I would say that one in particular is just, getting texts like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
hmm
It's just like, oh, cool. Like, for me, it's therapy. I'm in there, I'm in the zone, I'm working on things, and hey, cool. It's, you like it, I get paid. Awesome.
You're doing everything you
Yeah.
love. Yeah. I don't know if you remember when I posted recently, I redid like the back of my basement, and it was exactly what you're saying. Like, we just closed it. It was like kind of like, oh, let's throw it in here and deal with it later. And one day I was like, I just need to tackle this. Like, I didn't even plan for it. I just was like, I cannot stand And it is so true. Like whenever I was open the door, I didn't realize how much like how anxious I guess I got about it because now like it's so much later when I open the door and it's like
Mhm.
that is probably what you're giving the clients, just this weight lifted off of their shoulders, which is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, especially at an entryway or something like that, that's the first thing you see when you step in your house. And to become
Hmm.
automatically stressed as soon as you get home, or, you see a pile in the living room, and the weekends you could be doing things with your family, but you're looking at that and you're like,
Hmm.
oh, I got to tackle
It's
that. I got
always
to.
in the back.
And then the pile just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, it's just throwing a blanket or something on it, and then you're done. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love coming up with solutions, like not your everyday solutions. I always like thinking outside the box
Yeah.
with, different, I guess, creative ways. And I love to stick to the aesthetic side of it too, but not everybody needs that. It's obviously function is number one.
Function. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you do any digital organizing for people?
Yeah, I mean, I have some clients who need help with bill paying and keeping track of calendars and that kind of stuff. So I technically don't do too much of like email, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. I would just be like, delete it all.
Delete it. Just
but
delete it.
but I mean, people on my team do, or I do have a network. I have a big network of referrals who, if I can't do it, I can refer you. Like we work
Hmm.
alongside like interior designers and, anything you can think of. So like I have a sheet, a referral list for my clients that there you go. Here's a QR code. You scan it. Anything that you need is on here. And it's
That's
all
great.
been like I've used them personally or my clients or somebody's been referred to. But yeah, like I will sit there and set up systems for them, home offices and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But digital stuff, I got a guy for that.
Yeah, you got that. That's all you need. Well, so yes, you do. You do it by, referencing. So for those who may be looking, to organize their home, do you have any advice or tips, like just for something to get them started, something simple that you would tell clients?
Definitely start small,
Hmm.
whether it be the junk drawer or whatever,
Hmm.
or just a cabinet in the kitchen. Because sometimes once you see that done, like it starts, it trickles
Hmm.
down like, oh my gosh, like now I want to finish the kitchen, and that stuff. But definitely a corner of a bedroom. Work on
Yeah.
your drawers in your dresser, something small, because a lot of times people decide to pull everything out of their
Yeah.
closet and then they're sitting there surrounded by that stuff and it goes on the floor. And then you just, oh, I'll do it later, or they live out of their baskets. And I am guilty. I am guilty of living out of a laundry basket because,
Hmm.
eh,
Yeah.
whatever.
So it's gonna go back in a basket anyway.
Exactly.
It's like
So,
the never-ending basket.
but yeah, I always say just start small. Just start
Yeah.
small. And I mean, everything can be organized, and it's my love language.
Yeah. So you did talk about how you like the aesthetic part of it. And for me, I feel as though like what I have a good organizing system, but there's like papers. And I feel as though when you walk into some people's houses, the counters are completely clear, everything is like in a spot. And I'm like, how do I balance that?
Yeah.
So what advice do you what advice do you have for that?
We've done that pretty much from the start. So, like, I mean,
Hmm.
it's always been an assembly line. When we come home from the grocery store, the kids know how to unpack everything, where
Hmm.
everything's going to go. So, as long as everything has a home, has a space. Now, there's challenges of like if you don't have the counter space,
Yeah.
and you have to have everything on there.
Right.
That's fine. I mean, you got to we work with what you have. Do you know what I mean? No one else is going to build stuff normally onto things. But yeah, I mean, it's just, are you the Costco shopper, but you don't have room for it?
Hmm.
Are you just the minimal? Okay, I get it. But I usually like to tell my clients when we walk in, I said, I want you to be able to shop your home, whether it's your pantry, whether it's your closet, open it up and, okay, I don't need to buy 5 more ketchup because I already bought 5 ketchups.
Yeah.
So, I don't want you wasting or overspending, or having things go, expired. My fridge is bare. Like when the kids were younger, I'd be like, I would let it go bare. And I'd be like, we got to get creative with what we have.
Right.
I didn't want to keep buying stuff. And now that there's nobody home, I'm like, now my fridge is really bare.
Oh.
But it's fine though, because my food budget has gone down. So
Yeah, I know, seriously. Oh my gosh. I'm
it's
sure with them all out, you're like, wait, where
yes.
that's where all my money went.
Yeah, definitely. My son especially would have like 2 dinners and like,
Oh
come on,
my,
dude, really?
I
But
know.
but yeah, I mean, really just eh, start small with that kind of stuff. But yeah, you just get yourself in the system works for you. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And especially with like a lot of times, one of the biggest things in kitchens and stuff is where do I put the bills? Where do I put the papers
Yeah.
in? So I always love doing like a command center for
Hmm.
kids, whether it has a calendar. We had one that had 3 wall bins. There was a rod underneath and hooks. So each wall bin it had initial for each kid. So when they
Hmm.
came home, they emptied out their school bags, put it in their bins in case there was anything to sign. Right underneath, all their school bags got hung up. Boom. Like out of the way, nice and tidy. So yeah, I mean, luckily, I don't know if it was just me, just that's how I did it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's what I like to, we'll use what you have in your house, or, we'll find a location for something like that. Cause it's really important when the kids come in and you don't want to miss permission slips for things, forms, that kind of important kid stuff, or even like your, bills and stuff that come in. So
Right.
I like to have a system set up for that
Yeah.
everybody follows.
Now, what about for sentimental items? I know people have that's, part of maybe the hoarding side. How do you help clients make decisions about what they should keep and what to let go of?
If they have room for it, then obviously it's like, all right, well, if it fits in
Hmm.
a bin, and then we can put the bin away. So at least it's contained. If they don't have room for it, we will go through. We're big on just general piles. So, the keep, the toss, the maybe,
Hmm.
so toss, I'm proud of them. They'd be like, nope, I don't need this anymore in my life. Cool. The maybe, I don't force them. I'm like, you know what? You just need some extra time to think about it. Photos and stuff like that, I don't make them toss because everybody has a different feeling, whether the memory's in their brain or they need to visually see it. As
Yeah.
long as we can always find a spot for a bin. And so whether it's in a basement and underneath in a closet or something like that, most people, I would say half and half. Some of them have like a lot in which there's trophies and varsity jackets and stuff like that, but we find space for them.
Yeah. My parents just cleaned their basement. They redid it, put like a new closet in it. But when I went over there Sunday, my mom gave me two big boxes of things from when I was in high school. It's like shoe boxes of pictures, and I don't get my pictures like printed anymore, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't these are
Right.
my memories of like 8th grade to senior year. I found like cards from my 16th birthday party. I'm like, I can't throw them out, even though I didn't even know they still existed.
Right.
So
Right. Yes, then you have to think about it that way too. Like if you didn't
yeah,
even realize they were still there, then
right.
especially like paper stuff.
Hmm.
I get it. Like I have my old photo album. My mom, when I got married, made me like a huge photo album. I have it once for the
Yeah,
kids. So they're all in a bin inside the attic.
yeah.
I mean, I don't have a
Mm.
huge attic either, so they're just shoved in there. But same thing even with the kids. Like, I mean, I make for clients the memory boxes, which the file boxes, it's all the way from baby to grade 12, and you can put all the stuff in there. But I don't have that for my my own kids. By the time the third kid came, it was just like I'd maybe put her name in the baby book. Like I don't, what's your
Right.
name? I don't even know. Are you mine? Like I don't
It's
know.
hard. I get it. I know.
Mm.
I feel
Yeah.
that. And um
But then like I
so
don't have really any baby stuff from myself. So then it was just
right.
like I don't know why mom did with my stuff. So
Yeah.
it's just like, am I really missing it all? It's nice to go through, obviously,
Right.
go through and see all that stuff. And I'm relaunching my website soon and I'm adding a blog.
Okay.
And I found a picture of myself when I was maybe 11 or so. And it's sitting at a desk with big Michael Jackson Thriller poster.
Oh.
All my dolls are hung up on the wall, all organized, but they're all
Oh.
hung by their
Oh,
necks.
jeez.
So that may be my first blog post of how it started.
Oh, but they were organized though.
Exactly.
That's the most
Barbie
important.
dolls, baby dolls, everything was just hung up by their neck.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
That is so funny. I'll be looking forward to hearing about that.
Yeah.
So when you do organize with families, do you include all of them or just the main, like, like the mom or the dad or
Really will
whoever?
depend. A lot of times moms like to do it when the kids aren't home.
Hmm.
Be like, "Oh, I want that," or I don't want to throw that out." And moms are at this point ready to be like, "No, I just toss everything." So it really depends on the situation. There was a client who had hired me to do the daughters' playrooms with the two girls, and they were like 5 and 8,
Oh, that's good.
and we did side by side, and the girls were amazing at tossing everything out. It was great. I was like, wow, they really got rid of a lot. And they go into a little closet together, and the 8-year-old says, if we toss everything out, we'll get all brand new toys. I was like, nope, that's not how it works.
You're like, that's not how it works,
Nope.
but I mean,
But yeah, I have about a handful of clients who have hired me to work with their kids. So
yeah.
the last one I did, we were doing it was like an art room, playroom for the girls. They were older, big into Taylor Swift. So we listened to Taylor Swift the whole time.
Oh,
I helped a college boy in his room. We did his closets. We labeled his shelves so he knew where to put stuff back, showed him how to use a folding board and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I mean, any age they can do it, you know, and my
yeah.
kids are like, my oldest is messy, but then she all of a sudden whips it up and is clean.
Right.
And while she was home, she actually was my cleaner. So I actually paid her to clean the house. And so now I lost my cleaner. But it's funny though, because she'll call me from school. She's like, "Oh my God, my roommates are so messy. I wound up having to do everything." And I'm like, I was like, "Welcome to motherhood."
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So, and my youngest, my son is very minimal with his things. You know, he's just computer games, like that kind of stuff. My youngest is very color coordinated. She's in her tan brown era right now.
Yeah, the sad brown or sad neutral era or whatever.
Is something. She's a big Taylor Swift fan. She's very, very particular. She says she's self-diagnosed OCD.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it could, yeah. Yeah, it's with my kids. I remember I read a book and I've talked about it before, Bringing Up Baby, and it talked about how like you incorporate your kids into everything in your life. And the one thing was about, I remember the one chapter, they're like, oh yeah, at 9 months old, you can start having them help you organize their or books or put their books back. And I'm like, okay, like my child is not gonna be able to do that. But
Right.
I have really implemented like the pride of putting stuff away, and it's even if it's like little, and you can help them go put a book on the shelf, and then it really is interesting to watch it evolve. And even now at night, their toy organizer has little bins that come off, and they each get a bin, and I say, okay, fill it up, fill up your bin. And Parker, the younger one, he'll fill his bin up and he goes and walks it back and tries to put it on. And it really is, I'm like, you guys can do way more than I would imagine. And it is, I see in Willow, especially, like she likes to have everything in line. And that's, I think, has to do with just like everyday organization. So at any age, I feel like it's good for the kids to learn all that stuff.
Yeah, that's why we tell. We're like, so sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, well, my kids, don't clean up." Like, well, how old are they? And they'll tell me. I'm like, no, they can. It's like they're doing themselves a disservice. And each family dynamic is completely different. So, we just work with each situation differently.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've even seen it with my own brother with his girls. They're bought everything under the sun, and they don't really have to clean up. I'm like,
well, we always knew growing up that if we waited long enough, my mom would do it because she would. And it's like, I always joke with them. I'm like, we didn't know how to iron our clothes. We didn't know how to make our bed because, you did everything for us. I mean, I literally did not do laundry until like probably I moved out at 27. Like my mom always did it. And I'm very lucky and thankful, very thankful for all of that. But I'm
I
like,
didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to. So me and my husband both moved into our house, both from our homes. So it was just like, what do we do? So then when and I wound up being that way for my kids when they were younger. It was kind of just easier. Let me do it. It's easier. I'll just take care of it. And when COVID hit, we were home. And I said, you know what? You guys are heading to college at some point. You need to do. So we had like a boot camp. I taught them how to do everything that they needed to learn to do. And now when they come home, they take care of their own stuff. They, I only have to do mine and my husband's wash, and that's it. Like they take care of everything else. Every once in a while, they'll cook us dinner and stuff. So it's really nice. It's
really nice. But I'm writing notes, taking tips.
Yeah, and it's funny. The twins just turned 21, and neither of them had really drank prior. So taking them out on their 21st birthday to two kids who are like, what are you going to drink? Like, what are you going to have? And so they've tried a few things. And then my son came home for Christmas break. This kid gets his mind set on something. He got a bartending book. He asked for a bartender kit for Christmas. He asked for various teas, like like a multi-tea bag set. Like, are you 50? Like, what the
I know.
So he would come down almost every night. Oh, he went to the wine and spirits house himself, picked out, the liqueur that he needed. He went out and bought whiskey glass, martini glass,
Oh.
all those different glasses. So now we had a variety. And every night he'd come down and he was like, what should I have tonight? He made himself Manhattans, martinis.
Oh.
It's so funny. Like, I'm like, you're like a connoisseur. He's like, I think
Yeah.
I have my friends over and just, try some drinks. I'm like,
And
beer.
yeah, you're like, how old are you? Like, you're not a
Yeah.
new, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
So I was just away with my girlfriends. We do an annual mountain house trip.
Oh,
And
fun.
I was telling them about it, and they're like, when he comes home, he's going to bartend
Yeah.
to all of us,
Yeah, he can make some extra money that way.
Yeah. Yeah, right. As a college kid, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's something.
Aw. So do you have any specific organizational tools or products that you find particularly effective or that you often recommend to clients?
I'm a big fan of the Lazy Susan.
Okay.
Especially in a deep cabinet or in a corner of a pantry or something like that, just to make the space more functional.
Mm-hmm.
We work with all types of products, acrylics, wood, plastic. It really depends. I've had clients who strictly don't want any plastic in their
Mm-hmm.
house and that kind of stuff, glass jars. I like things to be as visual as possible because, again, if you're putting something away in a lidded bin and put it away, then next thing you know, you pull it out. Oh, it expired 5 months ago.
Right.
So I love to have things out in the open. Not super minimal because I get it. People buy a lot because, they don't either want to go to the food store a lot
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the reasoning be. But yeah, Lazy Susans is one of my favorite things. That and glass jars.
Yeah, glass jars. They
Yeah.
just like look really nice.
My whole pantry, all my pastas in glass jars and rice
Yeah.
and kind of stuff. So
And then do you have any?
crazy.
Yeah, no, I have I definitely have transferred over to the glass jars and my husband's like, I don't get it. I'm like, it just looks better. It looks better.
We even have a Lazy Susan in the fridge.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so all the drinks and
Really
stuff on there.
smart. We should probably do that. Right now. I'm thinking about my fridge right now. That would be a good idea. How about any favorite books or other resources that you recommend to people who are interested in learning about getting more organized?
I feel like a lot of people want to jump on like the books or the course type of thing, but everybody learns differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's either kind of having to be thrown into it and
Mm-hmm.
doing it, or maybe have somebody, like us come in, even just to show you, like we've done virtual organizing.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
we can do like a Zoom call and they can take me around the room and I can I would send them a care package and it would be, like maybe a questionnaire or something like that. And it would be like a little measuring tape that was branded, had my logo on it. And I'd have the same tape as them. So I knew that they were measuring the same way
Yeah.
I was measuring. So, but yeah, I mean, that didn't really last long because as soon as everything opened back up, we just got back into homes.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm not a big reader. I more listen to books.
Yeah, same.
It started since the kids were little. Like ever since I were to open a book for bedtime, I would start yawning and I fall asleep. So with anything, I open a book, even like a training class or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
snooze
Good night.
fast. Yeah. But I mean, it's, and obviously Pinterest is amazing, Instagram, TikTok, all of those platforms are great to just get tips and
Get
stuff.
ideas.
And it's to the point that if you don't know what to do with your, bathroom sink, just type in bathroom sink organization. You'll get like 10 gazillion, videos and stuff. So
Yeah,
that's not reading, but
no, with little kids, I can't like sit down and read. I do all audiobooks and it's amazing. And it's, it's just as you're getting the same information. So
Right.
I think it's just as helpful.
Yeah. And then I've had like clients who would call and be like, do you organize the home edit way or the Marie Kondo way, that kind of stuff? And I'd be like, no, I organize what's going to be beneficial for you.
Right.
It's
It's none of the ways.
Ask for joy, or does this give you joy? That
right.
But
it's, yeah. So what exciting plans do you have for the future of an organized life?
So, like I mentioned earlier, we're relaunching our website.
Hmm.
We just had a video shoot and a photo shoot.
Cool.
So that'll be on there. Knock on wood, the work van should be coming soon too. So
Ooh.
see that on the news van again. That'll be my my van driving around. Yeah, I mean a lot of things. Like I said, the event that we're going to do, we'll do another one in the fall. But for the fall, it'll be fall in love with your home, and it'll be houseware like products, holiday
Ooh,
decor that you can
okay.
swap with each other.
That's so smart. I
Um,
love that.
yeah, and I've last year was my big year for networking.
Hmm.
So I've been to a variety of different groups. Um, I've done a lot of speaking engagements. Whether it's so I'm also like a small business coach. So I teach
Hmm.
social media. I teach Google for business, Canva for business, SEO, all that kind of stuff. So I've bundled it. So I've taught other organizers. And then I also have done logo work and branding for people.
Cool.
So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's kind of like if I have space in my
Hmm.
day, I'll do it. So yeah, I mean, I just it's just all of that happened
Yeah.
at the same
That's
time, you
awesome.
know.
So yeah, so informative. So as we kind of wind up, what can you leave our listeners with, and maybe some words of encouragement or motivation for someone who might be feeling overwhelmed with the idea of organizing their home?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, start small, and then you don't have to keep up with the Joneses.
Hmm.
Like just because you see someone's on social media, which obviously is not always what it really looks like. Um, don't go by that. Go by
Hmm.
how everything's going to function in your house, and whether how your husband, your kids, everything, how what's going to make your life a little easier. The motto for my business, our tagline is getting your life in order to get on with your life. So it's pretty much, I want them to be able to do the things that they want to do, go on vacations and stuff. But a lot of times clutter and all that stuff hold them down. Oh, I got to
Hmm.
clean this weekend. I got to clean this weekend. It's like, I mean, cleaning obviously is different than organizing,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, everyone's got these, projects to do. One of my assistants was a stay-at-home mom, has been a stay-at-home mom for 20 some years because she always had projects to do.
Hmm.
And she came on board in 2022, knocked out all those projects. She's like, I learned so much from working for you. And now
Yeah.
she got like a regular
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I hate to lose you, but yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's just literally it's just baby
Hmm.
steps, and look at your long term goal. Especially with paperwork and that home offices is like a big thing because your medical information, the kids'
Hmm.
birth certificates, all that kind of stuff. People think they need to keep way more than they need to.
Hmm.
With everything being so online and digital. So really, you just need maybe one drawer depending
Right.
on the situation. Some people own multiple properties, stuff like that. But yeah, minimalize it and then know where something is in case of an emergency. Like we've had a flood here, and it was like I knew exactly where my declaration page was, what our limits and stuff were.
Hmm.
So it's stuff like that that people don't really think about until the time comes.
Right. That's great information. I love that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is going to bring us to the end of another episode of The Running Wine Mom. A big thank you, Natalie, for sharing your wisdom and insights into the world of home organization. If you're feeling inspired and ready to tackle that clutter, be sure to check out An Organized Life at www.anorganizedlife.com, which I will link. You will find a wealth of resources to kick your journey to a more organized and peaceful living space. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it. You can also follow me on Instagram at the Running Wine Mom _. And Natalie, where can the listeners find you?
Same thing. I'm on Instagram at An Organized Life. I pretty much live there. And
Yeah.
same name for Facebook and then my website.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you are strong, you are capable, and you are all amazing. Until next time, keep running, keep sipping, and keep embracing the joy of motherhood. Cheers, and I will be back next Tuesday.